Welcome to HU16 News Live at 5. I'm Sarah Hickerson.
Thanks, Ethan. Now, an issue that all American citizens are concerned about, taxes. Rodney Gevins, who is running for State House District 44, talked to us about this issue. Let's listen in. Home prices have risen drastically in the past 2 years. Data shows that in 2021, the cost of homes rose by 19%. The demand for housing during the pandemic caused an increase in prices as the buyers competed for limited supplies and builders were unable to keep up. Analysts say prices may begin to decrease this spring. If you missed this past weekend's production of the Greek tragedy Antigone by the Harding Theater Department, you have another chance to see the production later this week. Antigone is the story of political unrest and rebellion, and it's the third in the Oedipus story. And McDonald's franchises across the state are looking to hire hundreds of new employees. The fast food giant will be hosting hiring events across central and southern Arkansas next week. McDonald's is looking to hire 564 new employees through these events. Restaurants across the country have been challenged to find workers. The Harding University basketball team has continued practicing even though the NCAA suspended the Great American Conference earlier this year. Senior basketball player Romeo Harvey talked to us earlier today and said practices have been surprisingly normal considering the circumstances. A daycare in Benton is now under investigation for accused sexual abuse. A police report was filed by one of the parents of the children on October 15th, in which the mother said her 3-year-old son had his pants pulled down by a staff member at the child care network. The Arkansas Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security has approved over $25 million in federal spending. This money will go towards addressing food insecurity and suicide prevention for veterans. Thanks, Jackson. Now here is a question for you guys. How long would it take you to run 5 miles? Could you even make it 5 miles? Honestly, I'm not sure if I could, but someone who can, that would be Dylan Douglas. Thanks, Ethan. Now we're going to take a look at French Hill. He is the incumbent House of Representatives. He is Republican, and he's going to talk about his connections in White County. Thanks, Jim. And now we actually talked to students at Harding University about polarization within the election, and listen to this. These social work majors decided to bring awareness to the Harding community by using their class project. After taking a school trip to New York City in January, the group of students decided to create a campaign for the Adventure Project. Harding's COVID numbers continue to rise. As of today, there has been 84 active student cases and 14 employee cases. There are 262 people currently in quarantine for being a close contact. Please be safe this weekend and social distance, limit gatherings, and wear your mask. Again, that was Rodney Gevins. And now we're going to bring it a little closer to home and look at the city council race with Chris Howell and Davis Threkold. And they are talking about taxes local to Searcy. Thanks, Caroline. There's a lot of buzz going around what is happening and being built in Legacy Park. Right now, I'm here with some answers.
Well, it started a long time ago, 15 years ago or more, but it was an idea to develop Legacy Park as a residential community.
Over the past decade, Legacy Park has become known for its beautiful houses and cozy apartments. Under Dr. Burke's presidency, there was a growing need for housing, and this project took shape in a couple phases. Phase 1 was women's apartments for students.
All around living in Legacy has been really great, and I would do it again if I had the chance.
The second phase was residential housing for faculty, staff, and alumni. 8 houses are still being built, but when they are finished, residential housing will be completed. But what else is happening around Legacy?
The latest development is the restaurant, which is there on the corner.
The new restaurant will be called Warehouse 4, which will be a pastry and coffee shop. After the completion of the restaurant in August, Phase 2 will be done. Dr. Burke said once Phase 2 is finished, they are hoping to move into Phase 3, which would be building more residential housing. I'm Sarah Hickerson, HU16 News. Back to you, Caroline. Thanks, Bethany. An all-women's conference, also known as the Bloom Conference, happened over the weekend and looked a little different than normal.
Good morning. How's everybody this morning?
Thankfully, this year's Bloom Conference with the theme Influence was still able to happen.
Planning a conference during a pandemic and a snowstorm, it is a challenge.
It's an annual event, and looking back at last year, the 2020 Bloom Conference was a memory that those in attendance will cherish forever. Hundreds in attendance, no masks, and no social distancing. But what else changed this year?
This year, it is different because we can't have people coming in from the outside.
As expected, it did look a little different. Only Harding faculty and staff were able to attend in person. But the experience was just as memorable.
He wraps himself in light.
Guest speakers from across the country spoke both in person and through Zoom, encouraging women to use their platform to influence those around them in a godly way.
Jesus is the brand that the world needs most. And guess what? You don't have a choice. You are always influencing one way or another.
Guests were invited to attend virtually, with women even watching all the way from South Africa.
How great is our God.
With roughly around 250 people watching, the committee used platforms such as Zoom and Facebook Live to share the experience with anyone who wanted to participate. Next year's Bloom Conference already has the theme, Unveiled. Sarah Hickerson, HU16 News, over to you, Maxwell.